Well, welcome back to the garden here in Neath, South Wales, and Happy New Year to everyone. So it's the start of a new year and a new season. So it's quite cold here today. It's 0 degrees. And what I wanted to do, because we've had a few -3 degrees in the last few nights, but it's the first chance I've had to come out and do it. So what I wanted to do is just to protect the top of this tree fern with a little bit more fleece. So I've already got a ball of fleece in the centre just to protect the fronds, but with this cold snap coming now, I really need to think about protecting it a little bit more. So let's get started on adding some more fleece. So I've managed to find in the greenhouse the remnants of a roll of fleece and some twine and an old pair of scissors. So let's get in here and just start cutting up some of this fleece. So I want it to be able to go around the tree fern a few times. So let's start with that. It's a good thing I'm not doing this on a windy day. So try and get under here. I didn't realise that this trunk got so big from last year, and any form of protection that you can put on it is going to help it now through these colder spells. There we are. And then just tie that in place. Give that a knot. So since I've had this tree fern, I've never trimmed any of the old fronds off. I've just left them on there. Let's see if I can get in here now. Just give it one more. And if the weather is quite dry, just remember that the tree ferns do need a little bit of watering during the winter months. But if the weather is going to be quite freezing, then don't water them in temperatures like this, as the water will just freeze. So before I pop the fleece back into the crown, just to show you how it's looking at the moment. And there's plenty of new growth coming there, and that's the part of the tree fern that you want to be protecting in this cold weather. It's all about the crown. So looking in there now, you can see that that's got a lot more protection for this cold weather that we're going to be getting. I've also added a little bit more fleece into the centre of my cycads, and so far so good with this. Now on the colder nights I could just completely cover it over, but it seems to be doing okay so far, and I'm quite lucky with this one as it is surrounded by plants all behind it, and it's also got the protection of a wall there. So I'm hoping that it is protected from the colder winds. So fingers crossed for this one, as it'll be the first winter for having this outside. And Tony and myself also need to go to B&Q today, as I need to get some compost. I always like to keep a supply of compost around, even through the winter, and I've totally run out. And I also need to collect some Ericaceous compost just to pop around the base of the rhododendron that I planted. And just look at those buds there now. They're looking wonderful. But I just like to add the Ericaceous soil just around the bottom, just to make sure that they get the acidic conditions that they like. And I've also got a few different rhododendrons in the garden, and most of them are over the other side in the triangular bed. But if we just go down to the bottom of the garden, I've also got one just tucked away in this corner here, and this is a lovely one here, and you can see that the buds are also coming out on this one too. So time now just to pop to B&Q, and while we're there we'll have a little look and see what they've got too in the garden centre. So we've come to B&Q for some compost, and I've happened to come across these Mahonia Winter Sun, £15. Now I paid £35 for mine, and it's not an awful lot bigger than that. But they've got some lovely evergreens here. I like these ones. Nice crispy leaves on these. And just look at these. I do like a pink crispy, a Photinia pink crispy, £24. So we might as well have a little look around while we're here. And some of the shelves are looking a bit worse for wear. Oh, these are clearance. What are these? Crocosmia. But they'll come back next year. And how much are they now? Half price. So £4.50. So they don't look much now, but they'll definitely come back next year. This side looks a lot better. What have we got here? And the azaleas are £7. What are these ones? This is a nice big size. £18 for that size. It's quite a bit here really for January. Lots of evergreens. I was quite surprised when we come in. I also need to pick up some of the Ericaceous.
You've got to pick it up.
Yeah, Tony's got to pick it up. But I need these for... Yes, one of them please. I need this just for my rhododendrons. There we are. So that's one Ericaceous, and move on now. 2 ordinary, Tony.
What?
2 ordinary now.
Okay.
So time now to pick up. It's starting to rain now, but luckily we've got it in the trolley in time. And this is the compost that I tend to use.
John Innes number 3.
Well, it's actually not John Innes, so it's the big 3. But that's not too bad. Big 3.
Still John Innes.
Still John Innes, and that's £9. And just there is the Mahonia Charity. I've got one of them too. £15. And I paid about £40 for mine. Never mind. Just goes to show it's worth just having a look around for these plants. So we're back now from B&Q and I've been very good. All I've come back with is one Euphorbia robbii, and I do like these plants. I've got a few of these in the garden and you can't go wrong with one more. And I also picked up 3 bags of the compost. So I've got one here now for my rhododendrons, the Ericaceous, and 2 of the ordinary compost. And I've also tidied up behind the back of the tiki bar. So I've still got a few pots here, but everything else is looking a lot neater. And there's the 2 Mahonias that I was telling you about, the Mahonia Sun and the Mahonia Charity. So everything in the garden is doing really well. You can see there on the right hand side that tree fern there is already protected. So that one's going to be okay in the cold weather. Well, we can hope so anyway. And since I've moved the grasses out of this corner area, it's lovely now to appreciate the cordyline that we've got here. And in the greenhouse we've still got the yucca jewel, and that is doing so much better since it's been in the dry. Much healthier. And I haven't watered this since it's been inside, but it seems to be doing okay. And I don't know what we're going to do with it next year. I think we'll have to buy some sort of temporary greenhouse and set it up behind the tiki bar. I'm just hoping now that it'll get through the colder temperatures. It's 5 degrees inside the greenhouse at the moment. So it's not very warm, as this greenhouse is unheated. But everything in here is doing okay. And there's also a lovely rhododendron just tucked away behind the John Phillips, and that's right opposite the door of the greenhouse. And that gets a good little bit of shade there, tucked in amongst the other plants. Since it's been there, it really seems to be enjoying that location. The thing is with these plants is getting them in the right place. And once they find somewhere that they like, they'll reward you with some lovely flowers. And just look at all that growth that's coming on the base there of the John Phillips. Oh, it's such a lovely plant, and this has grown really large since it's been in the garden. It's got to be at least 2 meters across now, and this was grown from about 2 stems. It's about 3 years old now, I think, this plant, but that's doing really well, and it really loves this part of the garden. So thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, comment and subscribe, as I really do love to hear where you're from in the world. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.